Nunes, last night I was thinking, I bet Sam's looking back on that going, oh, I wish I'd just gone for Nunes.
Yeah, last week I was, as you probably could tell by the pod, I was quite stressed about what I was going to do with my team last week. And I ended up selling Alvarez for Watkins because it was the easiest route I had to getting him. And then once the deadline passed, thought, why on earth have I sold Alvarez against that Manchester United defence, who I just don't think are going to be able to cope with Manchester City. And I got lucky because it was all about Haaland in that game and I had him. But then with Watkins blanking, it was like, well, that's a bit of a disappointment. And then I keep looking over at Darwin thinking I'd really, really like to own you. But Watkins, look, he was really unlucky not to return in that game. So if you did do what I did and bought him in last week, I wouldn't be panicking on having him in your team. The fixtures are so nice for Aston Villa. And he's been at the heart of everything good that's been going on there alongside Diaby, who I was delighted to have owned.
Okay, we'll talk about forwards in a little bit more detail shortly, because I know you're not the only one with that conundrum. I myself am wondering what I'm going to do with my front three and if I need to shift money around a little bit. But before then, a quick nod as always to our FPL mini league. And this is actually also very topical because Mohamed is still top despite not having Erling Haaland, Stuart Gaffney and Shahid Ballock, the big movers in the top 10 of the league as it stands. And the reason I wanted to point out Mohamed not having Haaland is because Haaland was sold hugely last week. He may have been the highest captained for the game week that was, but he was also the third highest for transfers out. And Jules, as someone that captained him, you've got a massive smile on your face, which won't surprise people. But also, we've said so many times, haven't we? If you sell Haaland, it's a brave move because at some point he can punish you.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened at the weekend in the derby. It's just, again, if you've replaced him by someone who returned well, then again, the damage is maybe not as big, but it's a big gamble. We said it in last week's show. You can go for it, and it would free a lot of money that you can then reinvest and have a very strong midfield or two really decent forward like a Watkins and Darwin, for example, while you have 5 really strong players behind them, which is absolutely fine. The problem is if Haaland is still owned by 80% of the game and he scores 2 and assists 1 like he did on Sunday, then it's not good for your ranking and it's not good for your game week at all. So it's one, I can understand why people do that, because